What is up? What is up? What is up? Ruthless Talk. This is Brian, one half of your hosts of Ruthless Talk. We're coming to you solo today. Um, I want to start out by talking about real life shit here, if I can, for a moment, man. James and I, we've kind of been like hit and miss. I've kind of done a couple podcasts here solo. He's done a couple solo. I want to shout out to Jalen Johnson as well for the Bad Blood review. Man, great takes. Thanks for filling in, man, and being part of that. Well, not even filling in. You were part of the show anyway, so appreciate you, my man. So yeah, as some of you know, I mean, James and I, we live in North Carolina, man. So I'm sure everybody knows what's happened there in North Carolina. And of course, another hurricane just hit Florida. I guess probably made landfall yesterday, I guess. So that's along with some personal stuff, just, everyday life, personal shit, man. It's been hard to connect, man. But man, I just want to take a minute, man, to acknowledge people that are going through it, man. Whatever that might be. A lot of people are going through it in all different kinds of ways. I want to shout out to my man Shane Shelton as well. I hope I have this right. If you follow the Wrestling Pit podcast, I believe I have that right. The Wrestling Pit podcast. That's a show he's part of. But man, I know that hurt personally. I know it well, man. So hey, best wishes to you, my man. Just in a lot of different people. Just going through it, like I said, hurting in a lot of different ways, man. And if you can help, help. If not, shut the fuck up. Really, just help or shut the fuck up. Um, so yeah, that being said, man, just shout out to everybody. Shout out to James, my man. Hope you're having a good day. Hopefully we'll reconnect here Saturday, Sunday, whenever we do the SmackDown review. So until then, my man, take care, dude. But on to lighter subjects, man, to get our minds off things. Let's talk some pro fucking wrestling, my man. A lot of shit's going on. Pay-per-views, Bad Blood just ended. We had the Raw, Dynamite, Wrestle Dream is coming up this week at 2 days from now. So a lot of wrestling, man. I'm just gonna kind of take this show and I don't know, man. Just really just give general thoughts about things and just the state of wrestling, the state of certain storylines, and just where it might go, where I hope it goes, and where God, I hope it doesn't fucking go, but it probably will. So here we go, man. I'll start with I'm gonna get the bad stuff out of the way first, and really, there's not much. There's just a couple things, but I'm going to start with the most glaring one to me. Bad Blood. I'm going to combine these two things, I guess. One, the creation of a crown jewel championship as if that's needed in just any way. I don't know. WWE. I mean, we don't see this much often, but it seems like WWE in this case they're pulling a play from the AEW playbook and just creating a title to create the title. It looks pretty. Yeah, it's a nice, pretty title, but it means nothing. And I was able to catch a little bit of James's recap, or no, I guess this is James and Jalen on the Bad Blood review. Um, yeah, I mean, if we're going with the fact that, and we'll get into Raw here in a second, that Gunther and Cody are now your champions. that's a match worth building. That's a match worth having a storyline and a feud and whatever. You don't just have that on a Bash at Berlin pay-per-view for some bullshit title. That I don't understand the logic in that. Um, yeah, that's just garbage, man. That's garbage. And the second part tying into that is Bill fucking Goldberg. Let me take some coffee before I get into this one, man. Look, Bill Goldberg is from my era, right? He came up in the Attitude Era. He made his name in the Attitude Era. Gen X, that's when he was at his height of popularity. So I watched him get there. I watched him while he was there. I watched while he wasn't there. I watched while he went away and was gone. I don't, and maybe James can speak on this, on another podcast. I'm not in the social media spaces that a lot of the wrestling community is. I don't do Twitter. Even our podcast. I mean, if we did something live, I'd comment, but I mean, I don't. I just don't. I share my takes. If you want to have a comment or whatever, great. If not, I'm not engaging in that way because it's the internet. We're wrestling fans and we're assholes. So I don't. This is fucking fun for me, and fuck y'all. But Bill Goldberg, man. If there ever was a guy who, yes, has talent, is athletic, can do some things in the ring, limited things in the ring, um, who really benefited from just the overall swell of popularity and just the culture movement that was the that was, I'm sorry, AEW, that was the Attitude Era, the WCW and WWE both. And if we're being honest here, look, the Attitude Era started in WCW, man. That was NWO. That was Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. That's the start of the Attitude Era. Um, so yeah, he benefited from that greatly. Did he have a spot? Sure. Um, so I don't even know if there like is there Gen X people, my generation people. Tell me, am I missing something? Like, are we the people out here clamoring for? Oh, fucking like, I gotta see a Bill Goldberg retirement match. I gotta see Bill Goldberg win another title or have a fucking match at all. Are is this what we want? Is this what we're like? Where is this coming from? I don't understand it. I guess the man still sells tickets, or maybe that's also telling that the last few times that we have seen him, it has been at the Saudi events. I don't know if that's telling, if that's just like, hey, yeah, it's the biggest payday. That's why he's there. Of course he is. I don't know, man, but the idea that Bill Goldberg, um, even the term legend, no, Bill Goldberg is not a legend. He's not. He won some titles. He was a big star in a particular era. He's not a legend. Um, and I even back then, like I can remember my 19-year-old self. Like it was so completely obvious to me what Bill Goldberg was. Look, like I said, WCW, the NWO, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, they ushered in the Attitude Era. And when WWE caught up, in particular Stone Cold Steve Austin, and WCW saw that, they had to come up with something, right? Enter Bill fucking Goldberg. I mean, down to the like, if ever there was a hope, an initial attempt that they could rip off and recreate what WCW was doing with Stone Cold, Bill Goldberg was it. And he could not. Stone Cold Steve Austin will always be a legit professional wrestler. He was stunning Steve Austin. He was part of the Hollywood Blondes. He was the fucking, oh God, what was it? The Dream Maker? The Dream Master? He was all these things before he was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Bill Goldberg, while a great athlete, uh, yes, he's better than your average person. He's a better football player than I'll ever be. He's a better professional wrestler than I'll ever be. But when you get into the big leagues, he was not good. He was a gimmick that had a place, um, easily exposed by William Regal, not even really trying that hard. So yeah, I don't know why we keep coming back to Bill Goldberg as if the WWE crowd or or wrestling fans in general need or want to see this guy. So I don't know, man. That was just garbage. But the way I see it playing out, I guess if this is the plan where now Cody is going to fight Gunter at Bash at Berlin, or no, I'm sorry, I guess it's not, it's Crown Jewel. I keep saying Bash at Berlin, my bad, Crown Jewel. So if they're gonna have this match, Bill Goldberg's gonna be the fucking either the referee or the special enforcer. That's what he's gonna be. He's gonna cost Gunter the match. Cody's gonna win. And it even plays into kind of, I mean, Cody coming out there, right? You know his gimmick, you know his wardrobe. Bill Goldberg, well, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, the guy has a massive fucking ego, but he is plays up this sort of all American Harley Davidson riding, I eat a fucking steak, rare the fuck out of here. But that's the persona. So it fits in with the whole American theme, and that's what they're gonna do, man. I don't know why they don't have to, but they're doing it just because, and that's the part I don't get. So that being said, I'll leave that at that. The second kind of negative part I have here is Seth fucking Rollins. And I'll start with Bad Blood, man. Bad Blood was awesome. His return, while the same music, he came out there, different wardrobe, stopped Bronson Reed, gave the match to Braun Strowman, and that was it. That was pretty much it. A little bit of a change, which he should do, which James and I both said repeatedly, like when he comes back, yes, this is something he needs to do. So good start, great start. All right, I'm on board. Then he comes out Monday night, man. Monday night. And literally the same fucking thing, man. I'm a revolutionary. I'm a visionary. The same fucking chant by the crowd. The same shit. So I don't get it. I will give kudos to, again, still wardrobe change. It's much more not as flamboyant, not as brash. And I will say this, and I mentioned on one of, or maybe it was when I went solo last time, like his wardrobe Monday night was very reminiscent of Shield Light. Not full on wardrobe, but it's the beginnings of it. I don't. Maybe that's me reading into things, but I mean, god damn it! If we're just going back to the revolutionary, visionary chant of the song, go back home and rest up a little bit more. Spend some more time with your kid and Becky. I mean, I'm, not to get personal and tell the man what to do, but Jesus Christ Almighty, man. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, a feud with him and Bronson Reed. Yeah, I could be down with that. That could be really good, but not in that fucking gimmick, man. I'm sorry. That's that's got to change. The crowd, if it takes changing the song for the crowd to shut the fuck up, then change the song. I don't know what else to say about that. I enjoyed it at Bad Blood and Raw, man. It was just back to the same old bag of tricks, man. So yeah, we'll see where that goes, man. But let's get into Bad Blood overall, and I'll keep this, pretty short. I know James and Jalen, again, thank you guys. If you guys haven't watched that review, absolutely go check out that review. But I know it's already been covered. I'm just gonna kind of give a quick thoughts on a few things here, man. So let me, I guess I'll start and work my way up, man. Mm, mm, mm. Uh, I'm going to start with, again, I guess, kind of the negative and positive. The bad I took away from Bad Blood. Liv, Rhea, and the return of Raquel Rodriguez. Uh, if you listened to the podcast before, again, James and Jalen's breakdown, I can't remember who said it, but they were right. Rhea's whole focus was mainly on Dom. Um, the match was okay. Nothing really great, but the return of Raquel Rodriguez and how that was botched. I don't know who botched it, whether it was Raquel, the referee. I don't know, but in that feud with your world champion in Liv, your biggest female star in Rhea, the story they've been telling, a return like that and a botch like that, it was bad. Uh it was really, really fucking bad. So it just makes the whole fucking thing those I mean, it impacts the story, right? It impacts the story, how the match was supposed to go, how the story was supposed to go forward after the match. It was just bad, bad, bad. And I don't even know. Like, for me personally, I don't even know if they really can recover that. I guess my initial thought was maybe they were gonna now have Raquel return as the muscle, obviously, and now Rhea has to go through Raquel to get back to Liv. Because I do think, and I know James has talked about it as well. I don't think Rhea needs the title, but in this story, considering she is your biggest female star, the way this story ends is with her getting that title back. Maybe not long, maybe she doesn't hold on to it long, but this feud with Liv ends with her winning that title, I think. Um, but now, like, I'm just not even interested in seeing a feud or matches between Raquel and Rhea. I'm not interested. That that was a real shit the bed moment, like, truly. So that's that, man. Going forward, so obviously we know now. I mean, Rhea or Liv still has the title. Um, and as they have mentioned too on our podcast too, I don't even still now. I haven't looked into it. I don't know if Rhea won by DQ or they're saying Liv won. I don't even know. The whole thing was so fucked up and botched. But anyway, moving on. obviously now this story is going to continue a little bit longer. War games, possibly, who knows? We'll see, but just really bad start, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Um, I'm gonna go now to the main event, the close of the show. Obviously, you know who you got. You got Fatu and Solo and Roman and Cody. Match, kind of. I mean, I don't know if anybody was surprised by anything that happened during the match. Kind of went how it was gonna go. Um, just the ending, of course, was everything. And as James had spoke about, yeah, I too think Drew and Punk should have. And the only reason that this ended the night is because of The Rock, and yeah, rightfully so. You can make that argument. But Jimmy coming back, man. Finally, Jimmy's back. Great to see him back. Um, you got Jay over at Raw doing the IC thing, but that's got to come to an end, or maybe that doesn't have to come to an end shortly, but somehow, some way, you got to get Jay back in the fold, and let's get this shit going. Yeah, I just everything. The only part is still confusing and baffling, and just again, I don't think you got to do it this way. Is the moment when okay, Jimmy comes back, Roman Cody takes Fatu, eliminates Fatu out of the match. Jimmy comes back, takes out Gorillas of Destiny, helps Roman secure the win. All well and good. Roman, I believe, even then, before leaving the ring, kind of looks at Cody. They acknowledge each other. That's fine. They leave. They're walking back up, and of course, Gorillas of Destiny, Fatu, Solo. They go attack Cody again. Uh, You know, I I see the story they're telling. I don't like I don't like it. And I don't know why they're doing it this way, but I guess that's why they're doing it. Really, uh, like it would have been better if Roman then again asserting himself as the tribe. I get what Jimmy's saying, but now Roman is here, the tribal chief. They just had this match, in which they're both saying Cody and again. We got to go back where Cody initially said like he didn't even want to be part of it. This was a one-time thing. He does not now have to come to Cody's aid. Cody does not have to come to Roman's aid. He could have explained to Jimmy in that moment, look, we got to now handle bloodline business. I'm sorry for Cody. Let KO, let Orton, let Rollins, let them deal with it. This is not his fight, nor is Cody's fight involving the bloodline. So, but here we are, man. Jimmy's back. The Rock has returned. And shout out to The Rock, man. Of course, if you saw Bad Blood, this was well after the match. I mean, there was kind of like three endings to the night. There was the match. There was then Roman and Jimmy coming back to save Cody, and then there was The Rock. And he didn't say shit, and he didn't have to. But then you saw, social media posts of him, kind of leaving the arena. Rock, it, man, if people hate The Rock, quote unquote, taking a spot, whatever, I don't know. The hater's gonna hate, but the man understands wrestling. He understands TV. He understands movies. He understands camera shots. He understands promos. everything that makes a wrestler, he is at the top in across the board. Um, so to have this guy in, and look, we got to remember, um, they're going to Netflix. Um, do I think The Rock is gonna be, yeah, he's gonna have a match with Cody. Maybe is it gonna be a triple threat for the title? Who knows, whatever. But larger picture, he's not gonna be in and around the main events, the world titles. He's gonna do exactly what he's gonna be doing now, only 1,000 times better on a platform such as Netflix, where he, again, a weekly reoccurring show, where The Rock, the head of or on the board of TKO, shows up randomly every 3 months, 6 months. Maybe he's there 3 weeks in a row. Maybe we don't see him for 9 months and he pops up. That's going to be the beauty of it. That is what wrestling fans, man, I urge you, sit back and enjoy what is happening right now and what is about to happen when they go to Netflix. Because I'm telling you, um, no, The Rock is not stealing anybody's spot. Um, he's not going to be in the main events I won't say the main events. He's not going to be in title pictures, competing against said whatever, he's going to pick and choose his spots where he shows up and electrifies the fucking crowd like nobody else can. And if you're if you're a wrestling fan and you don't enjoy that, I don't know what you're watching or how you're a wrestling fan. Because that is it. That is wrestling. So anyway, great match. It was a great way to again close the show in the way that it left you on the edge of your seat. You don't know really what Rock meant by his, the 1, 2, 3, the gestures. Was it to Cody? Was it to it's to Cody and Roman? Is Jimmy now, part of that? Was it the Fatu and Solo? They didn't get the job done, you know. So we'll see, man. But look, The Rock on TV and WWE is a good fucking thing, man. Um, so yeah, moving on from there, what I think should have been or could have been the main event to close out Bad Blood, Hell in a Cell with Punk and Drew. Uh, so yeah, Hell in a Cell with Punk and Drew. Fuck, I mean, goddamn, a fantastic match. A little over 30 minutes in a Hell in a Cell. And man, I mean, both of them, they laid it out on the line, man. I mean, they gave it all. They left in the ring. Um, you know, CM Punk and walking up the back, up the ramp after the match, whether he was kayfabe or that was real, at that point it doesn't fucking matter. It was so fucking good and believable that you don't know because he could have needed fucking oxygen. Probably not, but it was so good. The match was so good. The story they've told from what January or February until now October. I said it. I think James and I have both said it. This has been the feud of the year across all wrestling, hands down, in my opinion. It's not even close. And I guess have it culminate here. I hope it culminates. It's got to culminate here. That was a great ending, a great finish. Shout out to both men. Man, I mean that it was just, dude, that was such a good match, and it's been such a great story. And again, and Drew McIntyre, like whether he gets whether he becomes champion somewhere down the line or not, um, I think he could. I think it's not even a question if this guy's earned a title run, a legit title run with some feuds and whatever. Yes, he has. I mean, this guy, if you remember, and again, think of the deal coming up with Netflix. Like this guy carried the feud on social media for months with no Punk, no wrestling, sometimes not even on the live show, just social media. And they built this feud, and a lot of it felt on Drew McIntyre's shoulders, man. So, I'm sure the wrestlers and the wrestling world and or I would at least to say the wrestlers, they know, they see that. So I just hope one day that yeah, he does reap the rewards of that. So we'll see where Drew goes from there, but with Punk, he alluded to needing some time off, which I would imagine he would. But then I've also heard that maybe he'll have a match at War Games in November. Initially I was thinking like, hey, after that match and that feud, and that's what you've done. And look, Punk, being his age, both men, both men in that match took years off their career. So yeah, he's gonna need some time to heal. So I mean, I you know, if I'm calling it right now, not reading anything, not knowing anything, I'd say we might not see Punk again till Royal Rumble, which could be a big return there. The feud with Rollins is, as long as both remain healthy, um, as long as both remain healthy, that has to happen soon. Like that sometime within the next 6 months, that has to happen. Maybe leading into maybe that's a WrestleMania match. Who knows? But I kind of think Punk's. I don't know if he'd be ready for War Games in November, but maybe he is. We'll see. But man, that was just a fantastic match. Shout out to both guys. Love the match. Love the feud all year. Um, Man, that's why I'm a wrestling fan. So, thank you to both individuals. And now we're gonna, kind of get into Raw, to the post Raw, kind of following up, tying in a little loose ends with Bad Blood. Um, Not much there that I'm gonna talk about. But I do want to talk about the New Day, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston. We don't spend a lot of time, on this podcast talking about the New Day in depth. The New Day as a trio, right? Because the New Day to me is and always will be Kofi, Xavier, and Big E. Kofi and Xavier aren't the New Day to me. They never have been. I get that they're, for a while, who knew if Big E could return and whatever, and they had success after that, and great. They had a moment and a run, and it was great. It has long been past time that they break up. you know, um, it's kind of been clear, and even if there is a chance that Big E still could return one day, it's been so long where like you could have broken them up anyway at some point. But here we are, where everything seemingly is pointing to Xavier Woods turning heel, right? And I love that. If they're going to break up, right? I think Xavier Woods should be the heel. I think he would be better as a heel. I think Xavier, I think he could be better as a heel than a face. Kofi, on the other hand, well, I'm not saying the man can't pull it off. I'm sure he could. He's a veteran. He's a professional. Absolutely he could. But in my opinion, the man literally has a baby face. So it's just going to be much easier for Xavier to be in that role. But I really do think WWE is gonna pull a swerve. And I haven't seen a really good swerve in a while. And this could be one, although I think it would be the bad time to do it. Because I think, everything that we've seen, it looks like, Xavier pulled off Ray's mask, right? Was that intentional? Was it not? I'm gonna say no, it wasn't. Um, he gets pissed that Kofi congratulates Jay after just beating Xavier, which yeah, right? I mean, at least congratulate me first. I mean, yeah, you checked on me and whatever, and I guess I don't know what was said, but I think they're gonna try to pull a swerve where you know, Kofi's just trying to still play like the nice guy and, yeah, I'm here for you, but I got no beef with Jay until he gets fed up and does turn on Xavier, making him the heel. I think that's what they might do, and it could be a good swerve, but I think you're going to have the guys in the wrong roles. I think Xavier should be the heel and Kofi remain the babyface. But I don't know. We'll see, man. Especially for Xavier. Like I really do want the guy. I want to see specifically again what he can do solo and what he can do differently. Because again, remember, New Day has always been a face group. So for the last decade, you've always seen him as a face. Give him something new. Give him something fresh. You're sending him out. I mean, shit. You guys do this with call ups that you bring from NXT. It can't be that hard to figure out. Well, shit. Maybe let's give this a shot with Xavier Woods, who's busted his ass on the main roster for 10, 12 years, whatever. Let's do that with him. But we'll see what they do. But it is time for them to break up. I just, Kofi's had a run, Kofi Mania. It was great. Just give shot, and again, when I say a shot, I don't mean this guy's going to be challenging for the world title. No, put him, of course, you're going to have the matches with Kofi if they break up. Sure. Beyond that, what have you got for the guy? Get him in something that is good, that is meaningful, that he can build upon. That's all James and I ask. That's all we talk about on this podcast, man, is especially these guys and gals that have really given their all for a long time. It's funny, because this really is, I mean, the wrestling world, the wrestling industry, it is no different than any other thing that we do in life. I mean, we all have jobs and some of us could maybe we're delusional or whatever and think more of ourselves than whatever, but man, you think about whatever company you work for. I don't care what it is, that person working in that company, that is somewhere, you know getting woefully underpaid, doing work that is again, just woefully underpaid for the work that they're doing, for that company. Those are the people that make the company go, that make the company successful. And they're not going to reap the benefits. Bailey is somebody that comes to mind. She just had this title run, and yes, I'm sorry to get off on a tangent here, but yeah, she's still in and around the main event picture, challenging for a title. Um, but for what she has given and what she's done throughout her career, if we're being honest as wrestling fans, I mean, do we think Bailey's, um, if you're going to compare it to a Charlotte Flair who's had 15 title runs, is Charlotte Flair better than Bailey? As Charlotte Flair better in the ring than Bailey? Has she put on better matches than Bailey? No, not across the board. No, no, no. She's been a workhorse. Um, and that gets undervalued, overlooked. So anyway, long story short, I hope they give Xavier a legit shot at something. But yeah, it's time for the New Day to end and move on. Um, Now I'm gonna close with really the only other topic I'm gonna get in here too on Raw, and that's Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, the IC title. Just I guess more what the fuck is going on with Braun? Um, I don't know. Somebody explain this to me. So Jay beats him for the IC title. Okay, Braun comes out there the next week, cuts a absolute babyface promo, shakes Jay's hand, and walks the fuck away. I'm sorry, walks away. Jimmy or Jay even adds to the babyface change, the babyface promo by reinforcing that by getting the chance going for Braun. Then you see him either shit, I don't, maybe it was later that show or the following week, I can't really remember, where he tells Gunther, um your top heel champion, you know, that he, speaking of Gunther, is going to be seeing Braun sooner than he thinks. Obviously, Gunther the heel, Braun the face. Now all of a sudden you have Braun come back out there and spear Jay out of fucking nowhere and I guess turn heel or go back to being heel or I don't know what was it like. WWE, did you get cold feet? Like, where you were going this, you were like, oh fuck, we can't do that. Like that, just the whole last 3 weeks with Jay, Braun, and the IC title, absolutely no fucking sense at all. I've given my thoughts on Jay. Even is he, has he earned an IC title run? Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a problem with him being the IC title, but I think a better story, a better fit for him right now is just with the bloodline. So I don't know why they took now when Roman is just coming back, Jimmy is back. Um, why pull the trigger now and give that IC title run to Jay? I think it's just bad timing. There was no reason really to take they had made the decision to put the IC title on Braun. He hadn't done bad. There was no, or at least not that we the wrestling fans know of. I don't think. I mean, there's nothing he did in ring, not on the mic or whatever. He didn't fuck up anyway. There was no reason to take the title off him. And then you kind of make him go face the heel in 2 weeks. What the fuck, WWE? Like, again, I mean, just killing momentum, killing storylines, killing a person's persona and what they're already sinking their teeth into and running with, and like that. Man, I just didn't get it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess those are my overall thoughts, just kind of about Bad Blood, WWE as a whole. Um, definitely looking forward to SmackDown Friday. I mean, look, uh, until the Bloodline story is over, and now that we're getting it kicked off, I mean, there is going to be no bigger story with it. There just isn't. There's not going to be a bigger one, a better one. Um, I mean, you got the Gorillas of Destiny, Solo, Jacob Fatu, Jimmy, Jay, Roman, The Rock. Who knows who else is coming? Paul Heyman is still, I'm sure, going to be involved in it. I just, again, for the love of God, WWE, I don't know why you want to force Cody Rhodes in it. Randy Orton doesn't need to be in it. Seth Rollins, KO, Sami Zayn. If you're going to put anybody outside the bloodline in this story, in this feud going forward, Sami Zayn's the only one that you even need to consider. And I wouldn't even consider putting him in it, if I'm being honest. I don't know why you just don't make this bloodline on bloodline. Um, but here we are, man. I'm sure, again, James and I will be back on Saturday or Sunday, and we'll give our thoughts on whatever happens on SmackDown. But before I close here, I do want to give just a couple quick thoughts on AEW. Again, not much I have to comment on that. There's, if I'm being honest, I haven't in recent weeks and months watched everything consistently enough to get a true feel of what exactly is going on everywhere. So I'm just gonna stick to a couple things here. And I'm gonna start, let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna start with Mox and Danielson. I guess I'll start there. Um, Mox and Danielson. I've spoken about this. I've seen this coming. And if I don't know, I guess to me, if I'm being honest with who Danielson already has had matches with, feud with over the entirety of his career. Um, there wasn't really anybody, left in AEW for him to really like. I mean, he could have had a match with anybody and be like, okay, fine. But there wasn't anybody left. Um, it does seem, and maybe I'm way off here, but my gut feeling tells me that Wrestle Dream, and this is sooner than even I was thinking. But I don't know, man. I'm thinking Wrestle Dream has a really big chance of being his last match. Um, it's in the state of Washington. I can't. Well, Brian's from Aberdeen. I want to. This might be in Tacoma, Washington. I might have the city wrong, but I know it's in Washington, and I believe Tacoma. Um, Look, the match a couple weeks ago with Nigel McGuinness, I thought was odd. It was just strange. Where if Nigel McGuinness has enough in him to have a match, even if it's just one match against Bryan Danielson, well, you can build that up in a great fucking feud. And they just went out there and had a match, a great match. Um, so I don't know, man. Just reading, and maybe that's just me reading too much into it, but knowing Brian's history, again, considering that I don't think it was a good time to take the title off Swerve, if I'm being honest. Everything just feels like, oh shit, we got to rush this sooner than we thought, and we got to get this title on Brian. Brian, you want to have one more great match with Nigel McGuinness? Yep, we're gonna do that. John Moxley, this is the biggest, kind of ongoing storyline that Bryan Danielson's been involved in with, as far as like the Blackpool Combat Club. Um, it's in Washington. Well, what a better way to go out, right? So I don't know, man. I think Mox is winning this match. I think this is it for Danielson. I think what we don't know as far as injury wise and just him wanting to be home with his family and kids and all those things. I maybe it's just come sooner than he thought, than we thought, than obviously he wanted. But it just everything that's the only thing that makes sense with everything that's happened with Danielson. Again, even going back into taking the title off Swerve. So if it is his last match, I'm sure James and I will talk about it, and we'll get in more to Danielson's career. But man, just an overall fantastic wrestler. Both again on the mic, character, storyline, and in the ring. He in the history of wrestling is one of the best to ever do it in ring. That's arguable and that's generational who your favorite is. I mean, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero, whoever you want to throw in there. I mean, Bryan Danielson, is one of the best to do everything in the ring. So if that is this is your last match in a 2 days now, man. Thank you, Danielson, and yeah, we'll talk about him shortly. Um, the last topic I'm gonna close with with Darby Allin. Um, man, God, I don't know. I don't know what to say about Darby Allin other than look. I like Darby Allin. Um, I don't know the whole. Both I think AEW is maybe a little bit more guilty of it, maybe just because they're obviously the newer company. But there's all this talk, about who's the face of your company, who's the face of your company, who's the face of wrestling. And so AEW, you got the four pillars, and Darby Allin's one of them. Darby Allin, I don't think. And look, again, it's something like I'm not saying it to be mean spirited. And if this is somebody, Darby, and I'm sure throughout his life he's taken negative comments or constructive criticism or however you want to frame it as fuel for him. And kudos to you. Absolutely. Take all that for fuel and go do what you believe in your heart you can do and do it. But I don't think he's the face of a company. Not AEW, not Ring of Honor, not anything. He's a good performer. He can be a good piece, a good, he has a spot. And I like the guy, he's entertaining, puts on entertaining matches, sure. I would like him to become a better storyteller, and a better storyteller in ring to where it's not the only way you're telling stories is how much you can fuck yourself up. That's the story you tell every match. Um, and we in wrestling, I guess, and there's always, I get it. It's a competition. Everybody wants to be number one, the face. It's on my shoulders and whatever. And we talk about who's the face of this company or that company or the face of wrestling, right? And in AEW, Darby Allin is mentioned as one of those pillars, right? The pillars of AEW, the four pillars. Um, you know, Darby Darby has a place. Darby has a passion and he goes for it, and that's great. That's awesome. But he is not now or ever will be the face of AEW or wrestling, and it's not because he's not good, not because it's because of the way he wrestles. That's why he does not have. He will not. I guarantee you, will not have the longevity in his career for a company to invest that way in him. And not nor should they to some degree, I guess, right? I mean, shit, dude. I mean, I get it. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not huge on unfettered capitalism, but still at the end of the day, I'm gonna put my money on something safe that I know is gonna be reliable and be there. And he's gonna give us holy shit moments and oh my god, that's fucking insane. Yeah, he's gonna do all that. I just, again, really, I can't say it enough, and I'm sure it's a broken record. I just really hope the kid stays safe, man, and doesn't end up with some life altering, debilitating injury or worse. Um, that being said, man, Brody King. This is a guy, man. I've always, he's been in House of Black for a while, and he's been great in that. And I thought I think House of Black really. I mean, to me, I mean, it's great that it's the faction and everything, and Buddy Matthews. It's no slight to Buddy, but really, if it was just Malachi and Brody, I think that worked too. But I've always been ready for Brody to kind of break out of that kind of backup role, that kind of the muscle, the enforcer of the group into now a more solo act. And maybe he's getting a shot here. So um, it's just that again, like we already know the match that Brody King and Darby Allin are they've wrestled. We know the match that we're gonna see from them, and now probably you gotta each time, right? You gotta amp it up, right? You gotta do something even crazier. So that who knows? It's gonna be a goddamn car wreck, I'm sure. Well, whatever the match is. But I hope if anything that comes out of this is that Brody King can begin to elevate beyond the House of Black, beyond of a member of a faction into something, because he's a guy that I mean, yes, I have to see a little bit more on the mic from him, but I think he's a guy that could be a world champion. Again, maybe depending on what company AEW is. Who knows who they're going to put the title on, right? I mean, they are, the flippy and divey stuff, which Brody does some stuff for a guy of his size, but yeah, I want to see what the guy can do. I think he could be a really big, huge breakout star. So yeah, I'm gonna close with that, man. Again, those are just my overall thoughts, kind of the state of just the last episodes of what we've seen in each company, as well as a little bit of recap of Bad Blood. Again, I just want to close by saying this, man. James and I, we said this before. Like, really, this is for me. Believe it or believe it or not, it's therapeutic, man. This is of something that I've enjoyed as a child and has remained so now. And it's something that beyond the real world of our work, our stress, our family, our kids, our health, fucking natural disasters, all the bullshit, man. this is something where I enjoy talking about my thoughts, opinions, feelings, whatever. And truth be told, I really don't give a shit if you agree, if you're not, if you think it's fucking stupid, or I'm spot on. It's just that this is my hour or 2 hours a week where, man, I don't really give a fuck about what else is going on. So yeah, just I just can't reiterate as somebody that um a week ago, I saw devastation in the mountains here in North Carolina firsthand, and the people there and the families there. Um, you know, not to go into some big sentimental thing, but it's just it really puts things in perspective. Um, like I said at the beginning, if you can help, you have the means to help, you have the heart to help, do so. If not, just stay out of the fucking way and shut the fuck up. Because there are people out there just trying to do the best we fucking can in a lot of different situations. Just, yeah. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life, personally, health wise. In the last week, I've met people who have literally just lost everything and their life savings, their home, their vehicles, all of it. I've met people through not even talking about the hurricane, but just in my job who are in the last days of their life. Um, people going through life-changing surgeries, life-altering surgeries. People losing loved ones just because it's their time. Uh, Look, man, this is wrestling. Enjoy wrestling. Enjoy. Stop. At the end of the day, as a wrestling fan who loves professional wrestling, stop. AEW fans. You know, and I don't mean to call out AEW fans specifically, but because I too am a fan of AEW. Bryan Danielson, John Moxley, all these. Yes, I get it. It is real. It is real. It's always been real, and you want to bring a little bit more realism to it too, which I love. But at the end of the day, this is entertainment. This is scripted entertainment. I don't care if you're the best wrestler in the world. To me, go beat Kurt Angle or Brock Lesnar in their prime and then tell me you're the best wrestler in the world. Until then, shut the fuck up. This is entertainment. It's nice to get away for a couple hours each week, and then me and James come on here and talk shit, man. So, sorry to be long-winded. Just look, man. Help out your neighbor. Tell somebody you love them, you appreciate them. Um, and stay fresh, cheese bags. Until next time, as James says, there will be a next time. Uh, Gosh, now that that I can't remember what he says. Anyway, stay fresh, cheese bags. Peace out.